Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good, you can hear me.
I can. And sorry, I'm at someone else's house and don't have the greatest lighting here. So,
No, that's okay. It's Thanksgiving, right? So
yeah,
happy Thanksgiving.
you too.
I'll just give it another minute here and make sure that
Sure.
we've got everything going here. I'm just okay. I am now recording again and recording properly. So I'm just going to just get to my presentation here and make sure that I'm sharing it okay with everybody. There we go. Can everyone see that okay?
Mhm. Yep.
So welcome everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate you taking your time. Hopefully, I didn't interrupt anybody's turkey dinner. I don't know about you, but I'm recovering from my turkey dinner last night, so I don't know if turkey hangover is still a thing. But today's presentation is going to be about using Brainshark as a learning management system. So before I get right into that, I just want to do a brief introduction about myself. Um, my name is Michael, and I am a sales trainer for Gordon Food Service. So I'm not sure if you've heard of our company before, but you've probably seen our trucks. Maybe, hopefully, we weren't blocking you in traffic. But we're a food distribution company, and we deal with our hotels, restaurants, and we distribute to them. So I am in charge of training our sales force as far as onboarding new employees and then doing ongoing education and development. So hence why I'm taking this course, especially since the pandemic. A lot of this has been online media learning. So this course is perfect for that. So that's who I am. So here is my copyright page that we have on here. So if anybody needs more information on that, please don't hesitate. I've got the links there for you. So the first thing that I want to talk about before going into what Brainshark is defining what a learning management system is, also known as LMS. So throughout this presentation, I may refer to it as LMS, just one more acronym. So LMS is an acronym for Learning Management System. When I first started looking at this assignment, I didn't know what an LMS was. And then once I started reading up on what an LMS was, I realized that I've been using one for a couple of years at Gordon Food Service with training our sales reps. So I thought, okay, this is a perfect topic. So a learning management system, it's any software tool that can be used by educators and trainers. So depending on the type of tool that it is and the type of management software that it is, it can be used by educators or by actual trainers working in corporations or for companies. And there are a couple of different kinds of LMS systems. The first one that I'm going to quickly touch base on is the academic LMS, which you are all probably familiar with, which is Moodle, which what we use at VCC. So Moodle is considered a learning management system. And with Moodle, we can engage directly with our instructors. Our instructors can actually program an entire course syllabus, an entire course curriculum, all on Moodle. And you can take any online learning. You can look at reference videos. You can look at learning materials. You can submit your assignments. Your instructor can provide you coaching and feedback on your assignment. This is all done through Moodle. So Moodle is an example of one online learning management system. The one that I'm going to be talking about more in depth today is the type of LMS that is used for corporate learning. So corporate Brainshark is an example, and this is a learning platform that companies use to either do onboarding and training new employees or ensuring that they have ongoing training and development with their already tenured employees. So, which is a very important aspect to have that, especially as we see so much attrition and movement in companies and people leaving companies. One of the key ways to retain good employees is by making sure that they have ongoing education. So learning management systems for corporations is really becoming a lot more mainstream. So uses in business. So I want to talk about learning management system and how they're used in businesses. So talking about, I'm going to just focus on corporate because that's what I've actually been using and have experience with. So uses in business can be used for, like I mentioned earlier, employee training. So if you've hired a new employee, you can use a learning management system to onboard them and get them associated with the basic concepts of what you want them to learn as a new employee. But corporations can also use them to train customers. So, for example, if you've onboarded a new major significant customer and you want to teach them how to engage directly with your staff or engage directly with your own software, if that's required of the customer, you can actually have them engaged in your learning management system and teach them what you need to teach them. Companies can also use it to train partners. I'll use an example. What my company does is we warehouse a lot of product and we deal with hundreds of vendors. And in order for a vendor to deal with our company, they have to have hit certain criteria. So we could, in turn, use our LMS to train our partners on the appropriate ways to engage with us. So that's just a few examples of how corporations are utilizing learning management systems today. Before I move on to the next slide, I just wanted to check in. I know we're going to have a question period afterwards, but I don't want to go too far in case there are any questions that might have an impact on the rest of the presentation. So are there any questions so far, or can I just move on to going into the next slide? I know you're all on mute, so that's no problem. I'll just take that as all good. So I'll just give you time to unmute before I move on. So one, again, as I mentioned earlier, the main use for the LMS system for corporations is training. So making sure that you have a system and curriculums and courses set up to train your vendors, your partners, your customers, and your employees. So let's look at Brainshark. I don't know if anyone has heard of Brainshark or not before. When I was looking at the topics, I realized that Brainshark was not in there, but it does match the topic because it is a learning management system. I didn't even realize it was a learning management system until, as I mentioned earlier, I started reading up on it. And when I actually started my job, I'd never heard of Brainshark before. So I think it's safe to assume that maybe you have not heard of it either. But what it is, it's a learning platform, like I've talked about earlier, but it's geared towards training sales professionals. So it's developed for corporations, but for the sales departments within corporations. It can be used for people outside of the sales department, but the functionality of it is essentially to train and do ongoing education for sales professionals. Brainshark allows you as an administrator to create online curriculums that can be used to onboard new sales representatives. You can also provide ongoing education for more experienced sales representatives. As an administrator, the courses and curriculums that you create can contain video content, training courses, and practice tools, and many other things that I'm going to go into more detail on. Brainshark is what's called a data-driven platform. And what this does is it helps companies to keep up to date on the readiness of their sales teams, whether it be to launch a new product, whether it's a new sales employee to test if they're ready to begin live engagement with direct with customers, and many other relevant aspects of the sales process. Because it's data driven, you can also, as an administrator, keep up to date. So if you've taught a course and then something might have changed, you can go immediately update the course in a live environment and it'll get sent out and everyone can get updated on the new relevant material. So let's talk about how well does Brainshark perform. And another reason why I chose this topic is because I have a couple of years of using Brainshark. So I feel that I can give based on my experience, I can give a good opinion on how I feel Brainshark performs. So before I start going into too many details on how I feel Brainshark does perform, I want to talk about how I'm going to be scoring Brainshark and in what topic. So the first one is excite, educate, engage, and evaluate. So I'm going to go into the next slides analyzing how well Brainshark performs in these four components, the 4 E's. So excite. How does Brainshark excite and motivate learners? From my experience, and I've created a few curriculums in Brainshark already, the effectiveness of a curriculum's ability to excite your learners and engage them heavily relies on the content within the course materials. Now, Brainshark does not create the content for you. You're, as an educator or as a trainer, you're responsible for creating your own content that gets uploaded into Brainshark. So Brainshark isn't solely responsible for making your content exciting and getting people engaged. So it doesn't have a direct impact on it. However, that being said, Brainshark has a lot of tools within it that a content creator can use to keep things exciting for the learners. For example, like I mentioned earlier, there's immediate updates. So an example of where I've used that is, let's say I did a training course for our sales force on the CFIA standards in beef production. And I taught it online maybe a year ago, but something may have changed. CFIA might have introduced a new or implemented a new rule. I don't have to do a brand new course. I can just do a really quick update and keep people engaged and get an email automatically sent out to them saying, I know you took this course 2 years ago, but we've got some exciting new developments. Click on this link to see what they are. And it'll directly bring them into that link so that they can see what those changes have been without taking the entire course. So even after they completed the course, you can still keep them engaged with updates and changes in the curriculum. You can transform a lot of different multimedia right into your course curriculums within Brainshark. So you can use PowerPoint presentations like I'm doing right now. We can do Google Slides, PDF, screen recordings, web pages, and more. And you can create dynamic presentations with that. So that, if you're using it properly, can really get some exciting material in your courses to keep people's level of engagement. Brainshark also allows for certificate of achievement. So when you're designing a curriculum, you can set it up so that as soon as the recipient passes either a course or the curriculum, they get emailed a certificate of achievement. Now, it's not an actual degree or a diploma, but what it does do is it keeps people motivated. And for example, when I was taking a few courses myself on Brainshark a couple years ago, I was able to keep track of what curriculums I had completed and set goals for myself. And the certificates just help to adhere to that. And it's an excellent training portal all in all. So as far as exciting, I would grade a B+. The only reason I didn't give it an A is because it doesn't directly create the content for you. So that I don't think there's that many LMS programs out there that will do that, but that's why I gave it a B+, but it has a lot of elements within it that allows you as a creator to make it exciting. Now let's talk about educate. How does Brainshark embrace adult education? So one of the things that Brainshark does, which is really great, is you can actually introduce subject matter experts. So as an educator or as a trainer, you're not an expert on everything that you're teaching. You should have enough knowledge of it, but sometimes you're not an expert. So what's great about Brainshark is you could teach an entire curriculum, but if there's a section of the curriculum that you might not be a subject matter expert, you can have a guest speaker record their own video or record their own narration or voiceover, and then you can upload that into the curriculum. So when you're teaching something, it's not just you teaching a concept. You can bring in other experts to speak to it. There's content planning, as you can see on here. So you can produce engaging, interactive learning content. When I say engaging and interactive, I'll talk about that later, but you're able to interact with other peers and other mentors within the educational curriculums that you create. There's ongoing training. So not only are you training a new person that you're onboarding, but you can do ongoing training and education and development. And then there's coaching. So as far as educating your team, you can provide immediate coaching on what they're submitting via Brainshark. And we're going to talk about that a bit later as well. And there's also an excellent scorecard program within Brainshark that allows an administrator to see how well people are performing on their particular skill, but there's also an ability to see how successful the actual courses are in presenting results in the real life and real world environment. So before I go on to the next slide, I just want to do a quick check-in to see if there's any questions from anybody at this point. Again, I know everyone's on mute, so unmute yourself. You're good. Okay. So the grade I would give Brainshark on education would be an A. That's what it's designed for. That's essentially what it does. What it does. Engaging the audience. So how does Brainshark engage the learner as an active participant? I've talked quite a bit about how Brainshark is effective as an administrator to create courses, but how does it engage the actual learner? So Brainshark has the ability to provide immediate coaching and feedback. So you can see an example on my screen here where you can do coaching. So for example, I just created a program in Brainshark on for our sales reps on how to identify using our CMS, or sorry, our CRM, our customer relationship manager, to identify opportunities. Part of what they have to do to make sure that they've actually learned the material is record their screen actually pulling out and seeing what their different opportunities are. And then they submit that recording. And as a teacher, I will get that recording and I can view it and analyze it and coach and provide immediate feedback on that. I can make note if they've missed anything. You can set up whether it's just a pass or fail, or whether you give them a percentage. You can set up exactly what categories you mark them under. So it's very effective at providing immediate coaching. You can also set up Brainshark so that it will actually do the coaching and evaluation for you. It's automated. So if you're teaching someone to do a sales pitch on your company, like an elevator speech, they can actually record themselves, very similar to what I'm doing right now, and submit that. And Brainshark will actually mark them on their intonation, how clear they're speaking. Are they emphasizing the right words? You can even program which words you want the recipient to emphasize. So Brainshark will provide its own coaching in that format, which is really helpful from a sales perspective when you're doing a lot of elevator speeches and you're doing a lot of one-on-one selling. So it can help you with that as well too. It also allows peer-to-peer engagement as well. So if you are taking a course and let's say one of the requirements in the curriculum is that you do submit your own elevator speech for your company, and you're a little bit nervous about submitting it to your instructor and you don't know it's ready to be graded yet, you can actually share your presentation with a peer, so someone else is taking this course. So to draw some relevance to what we're doing, if we were using Brainshark, I'd be able to send Yuki my live presentation first, get Yuki's feedback, go a bit of back and forth and changing things, and then submitting it. So it allows that peer-to-peer interaction, which is very effective in an adult learning environment. So I give Brainshark an A on ability to engage the audience. The next one is evaluate. So we talked a lot about how you can evaluate people as far as coaching and grading their work. But what I'm talking about with this section of evaluation is the ability as an administrator to evaluate how effective the courses are that you're teaching. So Brainshark has a couple things in here. There's our rep benchmarking. So rep would be one of the recipients, people that are taking the courses. You can keep track of every course that they're enrolled in, every curriculum that they're enrolled in. And you can also see whether they've started it, whether they're in progress, or whether they've completed it. And you can also see what they've scored, because a lot of times if you're creating a curriculum, you might not be marking it directly, but you can actually see how that individual is performing in each area that's covered by your course curriculums. And you can see if there's anywhere they're scoring particularly low, where they might need some extensive more training. So it's very good as far as evaluating on that end. But what it can also do is evaluate for you as an administrator how successful that course is and how successful the curriculum is in real life engagement out in the real world. Because it's one thing to take a course online, but how are you using what you've learned in the field? So an example here, which you'll see on my screen, is you could teach a course on how to convert opportunities into live sales. Now, one of the wonderful things about Brainshark is it can interact directly with your customer relationship manager. And so just a little brief overview of what that is if you're a salesperson and you've converted an opportunity into a live sale, it's going to get those revenue dollars are going to get reflected in your CRM program. And the reason why I'd mention that is because Brainshark links directly with your CRM program. So if you just taught a course on November 1st about how to convert opportunities into actually one business, you can then start to see how much extra revenue you're generating since you posted that course to see if you're getting the kind of real life engagement that you're asking for. So because of that, I actually gave Brainshark an A on that as well, mainly because of the scorecard ability, both on the individual and on the company's performance. So that's the presentation that I had on Brainshark. All in all, I would say it's an excellent program. If I was not a person that was training the sales force, I might not be utilizing all the functions, especially the interactive functionality. But as a learning management system designed to train the sales force, it ticks all the boxes, and I give it a very good grade. So that's my presentation on Brainshark as an effective learning management system. Here's my references. And now I'll open up the floor to see if there are any questions from anybody. Yuki, I see you raised your hand there.
Hi, Michael. Very informative presentation. I really like it. I have a question for you since you are using Moodle. I'm wondering, do you think, have you ever asked yourself, with all the things you have done with Brainshark, is that right?
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about if you can achieve the same thing with, say, other like a learning management system that are designed for the I don't know, like learning purposes for the institutions like Moodle or D2L?
Yeah.
Have you ever asked that question?
That's a great question, and I haven't, but now that you bring it up, what I would think is comparing Moodle to excuse me, to Brainshark. The thing that Brainshark does that Moodle doesn't is you can program intuitiveness into it. And I don't want to be an expert on Moodle, but I haven't seen this in Moodle yet, and maybe it is there. But Brainshark gives you the ability to really design what exactly it is that you're looking for the recipient to hit. So if they're, and mainly that's useful if they're doing an online recording of themselves selling something or doing a speech, it can actually look for keywords. And so you can design what you want to specifically test that one individual on, as opposed to me doing the marking and grading myself. So Moodle is, I feel like it's more manual, where the instructor has to actually look at every submission and make sure it's done correctly. While Brainshark has that component to it, it also has the ability to automate a lot of that work as well too.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question. Are there any other questions that may have come up?
Yeah, Michael, the presentation itself, by the way, was I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. So two questions.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint presentation, was that out of your system or is that something else?
Yeah, the PowerPoint presentation I did was just from my Mac, and I just created that myself. And I was able to do my own slides and design them. And then, so it wasn't done on a Brainshark or any of my work systems. I just did it myself and was able to get some photos from Brainshark, but that was about it.
Oh, okay. Brainshark sounds to me like, wow, is there a version that's available for entrepreneurs? Like, I mean,
it's quite expensive in the sense, because typically when a company, like an individual doesn't buy access to Brainshark themselves, a company will actually.
Yeah.
So for example, my company, they pay for a whole package with Brainshark that can be utilized across North America. So it is quite expensive because it's designed for widespread utilization within companies.
Right. Yeah, but it's intriguing features that should be available.
Oh, it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you for your questions. Any other questions from anybody? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Again, I really appreciate it. Again, I hope I didn't interrupt anyone's Thanksgiving, but if I did, I really appreciate it. And I apologize to your families, but have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was great.
Bye-bye.